The wicketkeeper who went from catching balls on dirt fields in Guyana to cashing six-figure league contracts, and her rise through Caribbean cricket is more dramatic than any movie script. Shemaine Campbelle stands behind the stumps with the confidence of someone who has caught thousands of deliveries. But what most people don't know is that 15 years ago, she was playing cricket on makeshift grounds in rural Guyana, where proper equipment was a luxury and dreams of professional cricket seemed impossible. Today, she's the vice captain of the West Indies women's team, one of the most consistent performers in women's cricket globally, and a player whose journey from obscurity to international recognition reveals the untold transformation happening in Caribbean women's cricket. April 21st, 1992. Shemaine Campbelle entered the world in Berbice, Guyana. Berbice is not a glamorous cricket hub like Barbados or Jamaica. It's a rural, economically challenged region where opportunities are scarce and dreams are often crushed by harsh reality. For young girls growing up in Berbice during the 90s, cricket wasn't even considered an option. There were no women's cricket teams, no female cricket role models, no infrastructure supporting girls who wanted to play. Society expected girls to focus on traditional roles, not chase athletic dreams that seemed completely unrealistic. But Shemaine's family was different. Her father loved cricket passionately. Her brothers played regularly. Cricket wasn't just a sport in the Campbell household, it was a way of life. When young Shemaine showed interest in cricket, her family didn't discourage her like most families would have. They encouraged her. They included her in practice sessions. They let her play with her brothers and their friends. This family support was revolutionary in a culture that didn't believe girls should play cricket seriously. She started playing with boys because there simply were no girls' cricket teams in Berbice. This wasn't a choice, it was necessity. Playing with boys meant facing faster bowling, harder hitting, and zero sympathy for being a girl. The boys didn't go easy on her. They challenged her, they tested her. Many girls would have quit after a few bruising sessions. Shemaine thrived. The competitive environment forced her to develop skills faster than she would have in a protected environment. She learned to handle pace. She learned mental toughness that would later define her international career. By her early teens, Shemaine was outperforming boys her own age. Her batting showed natural timing and power. Her wicket-keeping displayed quick reflexes and safe hands. Local coaches noticed her talent, but there was nowhere for that talent to go. Guyana had no structured women's cricket program. The pathway to higher levels simply didn't exist. For most talented girls, this is where dreams died. They had ability, but no opportunity. Shemaine could have become another wasted talent in a system that didn't support female athletes. The breakthrough came around 2006 when the West Indies Cricket Board, under international pressure to develop women's cricket, began investing in regional programs. Guyana formed a women's cricket team to compete in regional tournaments. This was the opportunity Shemaine had been waiting for. She was in her mid-teens, old enough to compete, young enough to develop further. She tried out for the Guyana women's team and made the squad immediately. Her years of playing with boys had prepared her perfectly. Regional Caribbean women's cricket in the mid-2000s was basic. Limited funding, poor facilities, minimal media coverage. But for Shemaine, this was heaven. She was finally playing organized cricket with other women. She was traveling to other Caribbean islands for tournaments. She was facing bowlers from Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad. The competition was real, and Shemaine dominated it. Her batting was aggressive and fearless. Her wicket-keeping was the best in the region. Coaches from other islands noticed the teenage wicket-keeper from Guyana who played with unusual maturity. Between 2007 and 2010, Shemaine established herself as the best young wicket-keeper batsman in Caribbean women's cricket. She scored runs consistently for Guyana. She held difficult catches. She executed sharp stumpings. Her performances weren't just good, they were exceptional. West Indies selectors couldn't ignore her anymore. In cricket, exceptional talent eventually forces selection regardless of politics or preferences. Shemaine's talent was undeniable. 2011 changed her life forever. At age 19, Shemaine Campbelle was selected to represent the West Indies women's cricket team. Her international debut came in a one-day international against Pakistan in March 2011. Imagine that moment. The girl who played on rough Berbice grounds was now wearing the maroon colors representing the entire Caribbean. She was playing against international cricketers from Pakistan. The contrast between where she started and where she had arrived was staggering. Her debut performance was solid. She scored 24 runs batting at number 7. She kept wickets without errors. She didn't win the match single-handedly, but she didn't embarrass herself either. For a debut, this was perfectly acceptable. But Shemaine understood something crucial. Debuts mean nothing if you don't follow up with consistent performances. One-match wonders are forgotten immediately. Building an international career requires sustained excellence over years. The early years of her international career from 2011 to 2014 were about establishing herself as a reliable team member. She played ODIs regularly. She was introduced to 2020 internationals. Her batting showed promise with scores in the 20s and 30s consistently. She wasn't scoring centuries yet, but she was contributing. Her wicket-keeping became increasingly reliable. Coaches trusted her behind the stumps completely. She developed a reputation as someone who performed best under pressure, a quality that's invaluable in cricket. 2014 brought her first major international 50. She scored 54 against Sri Lanka in an ODI. This innings was significant because it showed she could build an innings, not just contribute small scores. She batted for nearly 2 hours, playing both defensively and attacking when opportunities came. This innings elevated her from promising player to established international cricketer. Selectors now saw her as someone who could win matches with the bat, not just keep wickets competently. 2016 brought the ICC Women's World 2020 in India. This tournament became the defining moment of Shemaine's career and West Indies women's cricket history. West Indies entered as underdogs. Nobody expected them to challenge dominant teams like Australia or England. But under coach Vasbert Drakes, the team played with fearless aggression that shocked opponents. Shemaine was crucial throughout the tournament. She kept wickets brilliantly, not dropping a single catch during the entire tournament. The final against Australia was legendary. Australia, the most dominant force in women's cricket, against West Indies, the team nobody believed in. The match went to the final over. The pressure was unbearable. Shemaine stood behind the stumps knowing one mistake could cost the World Cup. She didn't make that mistake. West Indies won. They were world champions. That World Cup victory changed everything for West Indies women's cricket, and for Shemaine personally. The team returned home as heroes. Media coverage exploded. Suddenly, women's cricket mattered. 2017 brought a new challenge. Shemaine made her Test cricket debut against England in October 2017. Test cricket is rare in women's cricket. Very few tests are played annually. Getting to play Test cricket is an honor. Her debut test was at Taunton in England. She batted at number 7 and scored 33 runs in the first innings. A solid contribution. In the second innings, she scored 31. She was adapting to the longest format impressively, but it was in ODI cricket where Shemaine truly established her legacy. By 2020, she had played over 80 ODIs. Her batting average was consistently in the low 30s, excellent for someone batting between positions 5 to 7. She had scored multiple 50s. Her highest ODI score reached 77 against Pakistan. She was proving herself as one of the most reliable middle-order batsmen in women's cricket globally. When the top order failed, Shemaine steadied the innings. Her wicket-keeping statistics tell their own story. By 2025, Shemaine had effected over 100 dismissals across all formats: catches, stumpings, runouts. She had become one of the most experienced wicket-keepers in women's international cricket. Her consistency meant she rarely had bad games behind the stumps. This reliability is undervalued by casual fans who focus on batting performances. But teammates and coaches know that a reliable wicketkeeper is worth their weight in gold. 2019 brought leadership recognition. Shemaine was named vice captain of the West Indies women's team. This wasn't just an honorary title. It was recognition of her experience, her consistency, her professionalism, and her cricket intelligence. Being vice captain meant supporting the captain, leading in her absence, and mentoring younger players. Shemaine took these responsibilities seriously. She became known as one of the best mentors for young wicketkeepers and batsmen entering the team. Her leadership style was quiet but effective. She didn't give loud motivational speeches. She led by example. She showed up prepared every match. She maintained fitness standards. She studied opponents. She worked on her game constantly. Young players watched and learned. This is how professional cricketers conduct themselves. Shemaine's professionalism raised standards across the entire women's team. The early 2020s brought expansion in global women's cricket leagues. The Women's Big Bash in Australia had been running successfully. England's competitions were growing. Most significantly, India announced the Women's Premier League for 2023. These leagues offered life-changing contracts for women cricketers. Shemaine positioned herself perfectly to benefit from this expansion. She secured contracts to play in the Women's Big Bash in Australia. Playing in Australia exposed her to high-level competition and professional training environments. When the Women's Premier League launched in 2023, Shemaine was signed by one of the franchises. The WPL was revolutionary for women's cricket. The prize money, broadcast coverage, and player salaries were unprecedented. For the first time, women cricketers could earn salaries comparable to professional athletes in other sports. Shemaine's WPL contract reportedly was worth significant money. This single contract probably paid more than her entire West Indies Cricket Board earnings over multiple years. By 2024, Shemaine had played over 100 ODIs for West Indies. This milestone is significant. Very few Caribbean women cricketers reach 100 ODIs. It requires longevity, consistency, and continuous selection over many years. Reaching this milestone put her among the most experienced women cricketers West Indies has ever produced. Her batting average in ODIs had stabilized around 32, excellent for her batting position. She had 9 ODI 50s to her name. In 2024, during a series against England, Shemaine scored a brilliant 73 in an ODI. This innings was special because it came against one of the best bowling attacks in women's cricket. She batted with maturity and aggression, finding the perfect balance. She played for over 90 deliveries, anchoring the innings while maintaining a good scoring rate. This innings reminded everyone that even after 13 years of international cricket, Shemaine was still improving and still delivering match-winning performances. Her impact extended beyond statistics. She became a role model for young girls in Guyana and across the Caribbean. Girls who would never have considered cricket as an option now saw Shemaine's success and thought maybe they could do it too. She regularly returned to Berbice to conduct cricket camps for young girls. She donated equipment to schools. She talked to girls about believing in themselves despite what society told them. By 2025, Shemaine Campbelle had played 6 tests, 100-plus ODIs, and 60-plus T20Is. She had been part of a World Cup winning team. She had scored over 2,000 runs in ODIs alone. She had effected over 100 dismissals as wicketkeeper across formats. She had served as vice captain of West Indies women's team for 6 years. These statistics place her among the greatest women cricketers the Caribbean has ever produced. What really happened to Shemaine Campbelle? She transformed from an unknown girl, playing cricket on dirt fields in rural Guyana, to the vice captain of the West Indies women's cricket team and one of the most consistent performers in international women's cricket. She played over 170 international matches across all formats. She was part of a World Cup winning team. She broke barriers for women's cricket in the Caribbean. She became a role model for thousands of young girls. Her story isn't about luxury cars or mansions. It's about something more valuable: dignity, respect, achievement, impact. She showed that girls from the poorest parts of the Caribbean can reach the highest levels of international sport. She proved that women's cricket is legitimate, professional, and worth supporting. She demonstrated that consistency and professionalism matter more than momentary brilliance. If this deep dive into one of women's cricket's most underrated champions changed how you see Caribbean cricket, subscribe now because these stories deserve to be told.